Imagine this. You're casually browsing the web, maybe watching some YouTube videos, then out of nowhere you get an email from an unknown person. You open it, and attached are images of you taken through your webcam. You have no idea what's even happening. But then you remember clicking a random link in order to download a free version of, let's say, an editing software. But what you didn't know is that you downloaded a RAT, a remote access Trojan. This allows the person on the other end to have full control of your computer. That means your webcam, camera roll, passwords, bank accounts, and quite literally anything that's on your computer. And in today's video, we're going to be talking all about disturbing hacked webcam stories. Hey guys, my name is Tuv. Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, welcome. Welcome to my channel. We are at 2.22 million subscribers. There's the actual sub count, the exact sub count on the screen. So if you want to change that, I'll earn your subscription by the end of this video. I do like 222 though. It's a pretty cool number. But yeah, I hope you guys have been enjoying October. I know I haven't done anything crazy on the channel for October, really. I wish I would have acknowledged Halloween more, but I guess this is what we're gonna get last week of October. I hope this is not uploaded in the first week of November. I'm not gonna let that happen. Yes, I am aware that I am uploading this on November 1st. So shout out to my patrons. You guys got this video yesterday, actually on Halloween day. I guess it's a little plug for my Patreon, but I upload everything 24 hours before over on Patreon if you want to go check that out. But yeah, happy Halloween to you guys that celebrate it. And given that it is the spooky, scary month, let's get into some spooky stories. Hacked while watching Netflix and sent proof on Facebook. The story of Chelsea Clark will probably have your blood running cold just because of how chilling it was. It happened on a Wednesday evening in July of 2015, where the 27-year-old Canadian bartender reported having been spied on by an unknown hacker. Leading up to the event, Chelsea and her boyfriend had been having a Netflix and chill session, which she described to be pretty normal Wednesday night stuff. They, however, had no idea that their intimate evening would have a creepy turn of events. After leaving work the next day, Chelsea logged into her Facebook account where she had received a notification from a strange user by the name of Mahmoud Abdo. Right off the bat, Chelsea was unsettled as this user's profile picture was a disturbing headshot of the Joker, but that was nothing compared to the message they had sent. Really cute couple. And attached to it were a series of pictures of Chelsea and her boyfriend, which appeared to have been taken from her boyfriend's laptop's webcam. Even crazier, Chelsea's privacy settings on Facebook were set to only allow messages from her friends, and upon checking, she found that the user had added himself as a friend just before sending the message. Then, upon further checks, Chelsea found that apart the user's location being in Cairo, Egypt, they were also following only a couple of soccer club pages and belonged to a Facebook group called Spammers and Hackers. Obviously terrified, Chelsea contacted the Toronto police, who unfortunately offered little help in solving the case, claiming that they didn't have the resources to follow up. Instead, they suggested that she should simply block the user, hoping that they didn't contact her again. Desperate for some form of closure and justice, she contacted both Netflix and Facebook with no response from Netflix, and Facebook stating that the user had not gone against any of their policies. Anyway, according to Eric Parent, a cybersecurity expert, the hacker must have been someone who personally knew the couple. Either that, or it was an outsider that did their homework and understood enough about the couple. This is because of how strange the whole ordeal was, and after the webcam was hacked, the hacker conveniently found Chelsea on Facebook. Parent further explained that hacking a webcam is not rocket science and is actually simpler than we may think. Someone would only need basic tech knowledge and bad intent. However, in this case with the hacker allegedly being across the world from Chelsea and her boyfriend, remote access would have required some form of user involvement, meaning the victim would have had to click a link or open a document. Chelsea was still not convinced because her boyfriend's laptop was only ever used for gaming or streaming Netflix. As a matter of fact, her boyfriend ran a security scan on it and the results came back normal, with no issue detected. Russian hackers broadcast live feeds from UK homes. If you can access your video footage over the internet, then what's stopping someone else from doing the same? This is a question posed by Simon Rice, the group manager for technology at the Information Commissioner's office, after news erupted of a Russian website allegedly spying on people all over the world in late 2014. The website, called Instacam, was discovered to have been streaming live footage from over 250 countries. Now, if you've been watching my videos for about maybe even 3 years now, because I think in 2021, I uploaded a video. I had this little series called Disturbing Websites where I go over disturbing websites. And I believe Instacam was in one of those videos. It's basically a website where like I just said, it's broadcasting a bunch of webcams that just have bad security. You can sort by manufacturer, country, place, city, and time zone. You ever wanted to watch live footage of a Russian hotel, a random street, a squirrel in Tokyo? Well, this website is just for you. If you go on there nowadays, you get an error 500, but I have seen people Like when you look up Instacam on the Google search, there's people on Reddit saying that don't even click on the website. You can get a virus from just clicking on the website. So I'm letting you guys right now, don't do that. Just listen to the story. As of November 2014, the website showed thousands of feeds with 4,591 from the US, 2,058 from France, and 584 from the UK. There were other countries on there too. The website, rather chillingly, seemed to have been accessing footage from private webcams, CCTV systems, and even baby monitors. In the UK, the privacy watchdog warned that spies had hacked into several of these systems and that it was a threat that everyone needed to be aware of. This was particularly following the upload of private footage from Teesside homes in the UK, including live feeds from children's bedrooms, which justifiably alarmed residents. The Gazette, a UK publication covering part of the story, reported seeing images from the site showing bedrooms, garages, gardens, and living rooms from that area, as well as a gym in Manchester, a bedroom in Birmingham, and an office in Leicester. If that's not creepy enough, in the US section of the website, there was a camera that was placed in a baby's crib in Orange, California. Just looking at the baby. And yes, I mean Orange, California, not Orange County, California. Orange is just a city in Orange County. The more you know. Word went around pretty quick, and it didn't take long for the alleged hacker to be identified. A German researcher going by the X handle @Tactic41 said that he had tracked down the IDs associated with the site, after which he alerted the authorities. His investigations revealed that the programmer was Moldovan, who claims that Instacam was set up to alert people to weak online security on their camera systems. Comically, after the programmer was singled out by the German researcher, the Russian site stopped hosting any feeds and only displayed a plea for a job, even listing the programmer's skills and contact. Anyway, backtracking a bit here, was he really trying to warn people on the dangers of weak security? Well, apparently the website's homepage had a message supporting this alleged programmer's reason, partly stating, to remove your public camera from the site and make it private, the only thing you need to do is change your camera default password. Now taking us back to Simon Rice. He said that it is possible for the footage to be accessed using the default login credentials, which are fortunately or unfortunately available online for the cameras. Also adding on to that, Robert Siciliano, a McAfee identity theft expert, told the ABC News that criminals are usually aware of such information, default passwords and all, and can easily take advantage of unsuspecting victims. He urged users to not only choose secure passwords for their camera systems, but also to make sure that their software is up to date, discouraging hackers from exploiting any flaws. They could also go the extra mile of making sure their home and office Wi-Fis are encrypted. Tech support scammers posting Australian victims on YouTube. It's not uncommon to search for tech-related fixes on YouTube. We all do that, and most times, there's an easy fix somewhere out there. Well, mostly on something like an online support page, or that one YouTube video that has the mic muted, but it always helps somehow. So shout out to those YouTube tutorials that have no mic. But going back to the online support page, you usually wouldn't question the genuineness of said page, and I believe scammers know that. Why? Well, back in 2016, there were 69 reported cases of Australians falling victim to an online scammer group going by the name Mac Patchers. The group claimed to be a tech support company allegedly providing technical assistance to people looking for help with issues like software installation or support for their Yahoo, Gmail, or Hotmail accounts. They would then proceed to extort money from the victims and hack their webcams to secretly record testimonial videos of them, which they would then post on their YouTube channel for self-promotion. And this was with neither the victim's knowledge or consent. Now, among these unfortunate victims was Monash University medical professor Jeff Sussman. In an interview with the ABC, he shared the dreadful experience, describing it as very annoying and upsetting. In November of 2016, Professor Sussman had apparently purchased a computer which he unsuccessfully attempted to install Adobe software on. This made him seek help online and unfortunately landed him on a fake Adobe support page called Support for Adobe Australia. To make it look legitimate, the page had listed an Australian toll-free number which users could apparently dial for assistance. Like any other person in this situation, maybe, and desperate for help, Professor Sussman didn't think twice before calling. Little did he know that this was the beginning of what would be an unforgettable scam. Upon dialing, he was connected to the Mac Patchers organization, if you can even call it that, who alleged that his computer had a virus which was preventing him from installing the Adobe software. They asked him to download some other program that basically gave them full access to his computer. In his own words, Professor Sussman humorously said that once you give them access to your computer, it's good night, sweet prince. He explained that the scammers made it look like they had removed the virus, when in reality, they had bugged his computer and gained access even to his webcam. After, quote, completing their services, they ran a line for Professor Sussman to read. Think of like a teleprompter. They were basically giving him a script, which suggested that he was satisfied with their assistance. He innocently read the words without knowing that he was being filmed and they would use his video to promote themselves, maliciously targeting other future unsuspecting victims. His fabricated testimonial video was among many others on MacPatcher's website, with some showing the victims in extremely intimate settings. As if it couldn't get any worse, Professor Sussman ended up losing at least $1,590 to the scammers who had later accessed his bank account. He said this made him feel used and misled overall. Anyway, after they were exposed, MacPatcher's so-called official website literally disappeared from the face of the internet. But that wasn't their end though. An investigation by Latest Hacking News revealed that they went on to function under other alias fake sites. It's interesting to note that despite them appearing to be based in Australia, their operators had very distinct Indian accents and would introduce themselves with their Indian names, which is honestly arguably very suspicious for a company in Australia. Now, how were they found out? Well, it was all thanks to a whistleblower who identified as a scam baiter. He went by the single name David for the simple reason of protecting himself, having already outed other scammers and making enemies out of them. His job typically involved uncovering such organized online crimes and exposing them by pretending to seek help, then secretly screen recording the entire process. In November of 2017, David did exactly that with MacPatchers, who had the audacity to refer him to the many reviews and testimonials on their page when he called them out. Yes, they were telling him to like, yo, check out our reviews. And it was just videos unconsensually taken of these innocent people that they told to read scripts. And they were like, yep, these are our testimonials. That's actually crazy. This only made him concerned for the victims since most of them actually looked happy with absolutely no clue that they had been scammed and swindled for their money without any real problem on their computer being fixed. David claims to have reported several such cases where Australian numbers have been linked to such sites to the telco networks that host them, only to find them still being used months later. The Communications Alliance, a telco industry group in Australia, responded by saying that network providers do their best to shut down suspicious numbers. However, that such misuse is extremely rare and virtually impossible to prove ill intent in advance. A Penn high school paid 6 figures in settlement for spying on students at home via webcam. In 2010, the Lower Merion School District was faced by a lawsuit from a 15-year-old sophomore, Blake Robbins, who accused the district of invasion of privacy. The school had allegedly taken hundreds of photos of him secretly in a period of only 2 weeks. He and his family found out about this after he was accused of dealing drugs by one of his teachers. This was weird, as first, he was taking Mike and Ike's, the candy, and second, he was at home when he was taking the Mike and Ike's. Robbins even joked on his Facebook, a post that is no longer available, that he felt safe in his room with his computer and advising everyone that they should keep their pants on because Lower Merion was watching them. After the suit was brought up, it was revealed that the district had secretly used software to remotely activate webcams on laptops issued to students. The software, called Theft Track, was initially installed to help recover stolen laptops, and the school claimed it was within use of the software that the school's vice principal watched Robbins dealing drugs. Or I should say, quote, dealing drugs. Apparently, his laptop was suspected to be stolen, and in attempts to locate it, a technician activated the webcam only to find him sorting out his candy. Weirdly though, the software allowed the school to capture thousands of images and screenshots without the students' knowledge or consent. These included photos of students in their homes, some of which were captured while they were asleep or in other private situations. This footage was then sent to the school servers, after which the laptop would delete the shared files. It was programmed to do that, making sure that there was no trace of such activity on the laptop itself. It wasn't exactly clear who in the school had access to the footage, but they were evidently stored in the school servers and reviewed by the employees. As you might imagine, this raised significant concerns about privacy violations, as there was no notification to students or parents about the monitoring capabilities of the laptops. Word has it that had the school made their intentions clear from the beginning, they would have not been in all of that legal trouble. On top of the Robbins case, another student by the name of Jalil Hassan filed a second suit accusing the school of taking more than 1,000 photos of him unknowingly via his computer over a 2-month period. Speaking to CBS, Robbins said that he felt good for calling out the justice, and his mother was still in disbelief of the school's audacity to do that. The school eventually settled with the family after the scandal sparked nationwide interest. The Robbins family was set to get $175,000, their attorney was set to get $425,000, and Jalil was to receive $10,000. After all that, the Robinson family said that they were working on legislation to make webcam spying a federal offense. 8-year-old's room live streamed on a live webcam app. Naturally, a parent's biggest fear is failing to protect their children. Jennifer, a Houston mother, had this fear come to life in August of 2016 when she found out that the feed of the camera she had installed in her 8-year-old twin daughter's room had been hacked, with the footage posted online for basically anyone to see. Something they had put in place to ensure their daughter's safety turned out to work to the opposite effect, arguably being used to make it more unsafe for the twins. According to Jennifer, she couldn't wrap her head around her daughters being seen in their intimate moments, dressing up, playing, or even just sleeping. It was horrific. And how did she find out what was going on? Well, that was through a friend who had apparently seen a picture of the twins' bedroom posted on a Houston mothers group on Facebook. Shelby Ivy, the user who shared the picture, was a mother of two who lived more than 2,000 miles away from Jennifer in Kaiser, Oregon. She had stumbled upon the live feed while looking at satellite images of the Earth online with her son. She came across a free live camera viewer app, which she found interesting and downloaded only to come across the little girl's room. This was among other feeds as she scrolled through. Horrifyingly, the location of Jennifer's house was pasted at the top of the page, right there where the camera is viewable. Ivy immediately created a Facebook post to alert the public. The post went viral due to the chilling nature of the incident and was shared more than 4,000 times across different news outlets' pages, comment sections, and different mom groups. Ivy herself was extremely spooked and even in tears just imagining the kind of violation Jennifer's daughters had endured. In an ABC interview, Kevin Haley, a Symantec security officer, shared that a system is highly vulnerable to an attack if it's connected to the internet, since most of these systems have not been designed to be secure, which offers hackers multiple opportunities to break into them. Luckily, a security company tracked the hackers and believed that the incident was made possible through Minecraft. One of Jennifer's daughters was playing it on her iPad. Apparently, a prompt had popped up requesting for the name of their server, of which her daughter searched for a random one online. It turned out to have been unprotected. This way, the hackers could easily locate the family's monitor and computer systems, then access their modem as well as DVR system. This would then allow access to the cameras in their home. Anyway, this incident only motivated Jennifer to enforce her security system, but also to ban her daughters from using the internet as a whole. Jennifer went ahead to advise parents to be vigilant and always watch what their kids are doing to avoid such incidents. Putting aside the obvious trauma, if there's anything positive that came out of this experience is the friendship between Ivy and Jennifer. In fact, Jennifer could not possibly thank Ivy enough for saving their lives. Miss Teen USA tortured for a year after webcam was hacked. 19-year-old Californian Cassidy Wolf was on the path of stardom, having won Americans' hearts in the last 2 years. She had been contesting in beauty pageants. This was in 2013, and just months before she was crowned Miss Teen USA, rather shockingly, she revealed that she had been a victim of sextortion. She had apparently received an anonymous email with nude photos of herself, with the sender threatening to expose her, aka just blackmail her, unless she were to send better quality images or perform sexual acts via a Skype call. Cassidy was horrified by the email and immediately contacted her mom, who acted swiftly by reporting the case to the police. It didn't take long before the FBI took over and linked the case to 19-year-old Californian Jared James Abraham, who confessed to having hacked into 100 to 150 women's webcams. Following his arrest, the college student pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 18 months in federal prison. It was discovered that he had used the invasive malware Blackshades to hack into these women's computers with similar demands to Cassidy's case. Blackshades can reportedly be used remotely to gain full access to the victim's computer, including accessing their webcam, logging keystrokes, accessing private information like login details, and downloading or executing files from the victim's computers. What's also crazy about this case is that Jared targeted young women that he already knew. He actually went to the same high school together with Cassidy, that being Great Oaks High School, and even graduated in the same year in 2012. Interestingly, being the sweetheart she is, Cassidy had mixed emotions about the incident to the point where she literally was sympathizing with Jared's situation. Speaking to CBS, she was shocked that the two were the same age and that Jared had chosen to participate in the malicious acts, practically throwing his whole life away. She felt bad that Jared had terrorized her and many other girls without realizing the extent of damage of his actions or the severity of their consequences. Despite her refusing to consent to these horrific demands, she shared that she never thought that she could have been sextorted, never thought that she could have been a victim. Overall, a sad case, but at least with media coverage, enough to be a wake-up call to the risk of cybercrime and sexual cyberbullying. This came off as particularly important in the eyes of the victims. As in an interview with CNN, Cassidy said that it was a traumatizing experience, especially because one is supposed to feel safe in their bedroom, that being their most intimate space. And after being crowned Miss Teen USA, Cassidy committed to being an advocate against cybercrime, using her story to educate other young girls across the country on safety measures when using the internet. Also, with the high rise of sextortion cases at the time, the US government also made attempts at educating the public, issuing advice to computer users to do things like use passwords that are difficult to guess, avoid opening unverified attachments, to always use reliable antivirus software with updated definitions, as well as covering their webcams when they're not in use. Robert Davies. For 9 years, he hacked webcams, including of people he knew. 32-year-old Robert Davies, a software engineer from Byron Close, Colwick, and Nottingham, hacked into women's and children's webcams over a period of nearly 9 years. from 2010 to 2019. He did this using remote access Trojans, aka rats, and other malware tools. The goal? Well, just to simply spy on his unsuspecting victims. As per the reports, these remote access Trojans enabled him to remotely control the webcams of his targets, which then allowed him to capture private and intimate moments. And just to explain more on the modus operandi, he gained access to his victims' devices by disguising malware and URLs that he sent through fake social media and messaging profiles. He basically tricked people into downloading the spyware. He also catfished some using a fake Skype account where they believed they would indulge in suggestive sexual conversations with women. In total, it was discovered that he had victimized more than 30 women, one of them being a vulnerable young girl who was only 11 years old. Bizarrely, the girl later shared that in the 2-year quote relationship that they had, he was the only one who would tell her she was beautiful at her worst. And that, people, is called grooming. Anyway, Davies also collected indecent images, some of which involved children, and kept a massive database of stolen content. One of his victims, Miss Coleman, reported that there was an image of her and her partner in their bedroom which was extremely personal and private. Another woman said that Davies' behavior was extremely creepy. And as if it couldn't get any creepier, Davies was found to be in possession of one woman's data and an image of her lying on her bed holding up her underwear. The woman claimed to have only shared that with her partner. Now, this streak wouldn't last forever as his crimes came to light after being identified as a customer of WeLeakInfo, a site that used to sell login credentials obtained from data breaches. This was before it was seized by the FBI and the National Crime Agency after multiple arrests between 2019 and 2021. Davies pleaded guilty to 24 offenses under the Computer Misuse Act, along with charges for possessing indecent images of children and voyeurism. He was sentenced to 26 months in prison in 2021. At the Nottingham Crown Court, he was sentenced to 2 years and 2 months in prison. Alongside the prison sentence, Davies was placed on the Sex Offenders Registry, issued a 10-year restraining order, and given a sexual harm prevention order. Judge Julie Warburton told the court that because of Davies' actions, victims had been left feeling violated and that the extent of the damage caused was immeasurable. Following his sentencing, an operations manager from the NCA's National Cybercrime Unit, Andrew Chirac, said that with the severity in Davies' case, he had ultimately unlocked what could only be described as a cybercriminal's toolkit. Laptop rental firms spying on customers. We've all probably rented something before, whether that be a house, a car, a DVD from Redbox. You guys remember Redbox? If there are some of you in the comments that don't remember what Redbox is, I'm gonna feel so old. Come on guys, please remember what Redbox is. Remember Gamefly? You guys remember Gamefly? I never used Gamefly, I just saw commercials about it. Yeah, those existed. But anyway, when you're renting something, obviously there's the risk of losing it. But what if I told you that there was another risk? Being spied on. A Wyoming couple, Crystal and Brian Bird, claimed to have fallen victim to this after renting a laptop from Aaron's, a popular furniture and electronics rental company. They only found out about this after the store's manager made an unexpected visit to their home in December of 2010, after incorrectly assuming that the couple went against their renting agreement. With him, the manager had a picture of the couple unmistakably taken from the laptop's webcam. The Birds were outright upset because of this invasion of privacy, which led them to sue Aaron's in 2011. Their claim was that the company's rental computers were equipped with software that allowed them to track keystrokes, screenshots, and even webcam images without the customer's knowledge or consent. The lawsuit alleged that Aaron's used this information to monitor customers' activities, including their personal and private lives. The case sparked significant controversy and led to investigations by the Federal Trade Commission, which then, rather shockingly, discovered not one, not two, but 7 computer rental companies that were spying on their customers through rent-to-own laptops that came pre-installed with spy software. This software would essentially monitor the customers, ensuring that they paid their bills on time, but also track their locations, stole bank account information, read private emails, and even used the laptop webcams to photograph and record intimate moments like people having sex. Yep, they did that. And by the time the Birds case came to light, this secret spying had affected nearly 420,000 unsuspecting customers. Yes, 6 digits, 420,000. Then, upon further investigations, it was revealed that this spying software was enabled through a number of programs made by Designerware, a software design firm. Used at surface level, the software provided the electronics renting companies with a kill switch, which would allow them to shut down the device should it be stolen or the renter failed to pay the required bills. There was, however, a feature in the software called Detective Mode, which really empowered all the nasty happenings, including giving the companies full access to the computer in real time, including its keyboard, screen, and webcam. Originally designed to help rental companies track down and recover computers from uncooperative customers, some companies or employees found hideous uses for it. The software also had these annoying prompts that came up on the screen the minute the customers would need to use your computer. That's apparently something that Detective Mode perfected. It forced customers to fill in private information like their home addresses, phone numbers, and emails. Speaking to ABC News, legal experts condemned this outrageous act, claiming that although the rental company may have the right to use technology to track their property or shut it down, the customers need to be told when they're being monitored. Basically, some consent would have gone a long way. Unfortunately for the birds, the charges could not be proven to be criminal, and the FTC only had civil authority. The FTC, though, ultimately ordered Aaron's and the other rental companies to stop using spyware on their rental computers without obtaining explicit customer consent. Computer expert exposed after hacking victims' webcams. In November of 2010, a British computer expert, Matthew Anderson, was sentenced to 30 months in prison for hacking into the webcams of several victims and secretly recording all of them. The 30-year-old father of 5 from Drumore Moray in Scotland did all this while in his mother's front room, practically misusing his skills to terrorize people around the world. His signature style of hacking, if you can phrase it that way, was sending unsolicited emails to unsuspecting victims. Attached in the emails would be viruses, which when opened, would run in the background while the computers were being used. They would secretly allow remote control of the computers, something which Anderson did not hesitate to take advantage of. Reports said that he actually accessed extremely personal and intimate data, even hacking into victims' webcams to spy on them in intimate settings. Put differently, it's like he was obsessed with people's homes and private moments. And this is something that psychology has actually proven to be associated with criminal masterminds. They get addicted to attention and love to be associated with their crime, like to be known as the guy that does a specific crime a specific way. Anderson was no exception. Anderson was caught after a Scotland Yard investigation discovered that he had been part of an international gang that was notorious in cybercrimes. He was described to be part of this top-end international hacking community by prosecutor Hugh Davies, with emphasis on top-end due to the level of sophistication of his crimes. Now, extremely unsettling is that among some of the files found on his computer included images of a young girl in her school uniform, a family photograph of a mother and her newborn baby in the hospital, and intimate pictures of sexual nature. For reasons best known to him, he even collected victims' wills, medical records, and resumes. And probably the most wicked thing about all of this is that he boasted to a friend that he made a teenage girl cry during one of his crimes. Anyway, additionally, beyond individuals, the scam affected charities, government departments, the John Radcliffe Hospital in Oxford, and Oxford University. It was basically borderline a national disaster, as it led to these huge expenses and disruptions in the UK. Upon investigation, authorities found that Anderson had created a network of compromised devices, and this led to him facing multiple charges, including voyeurism and unauthorized access to computer systems. Anderson's defense attorney, Simon Ward, however, claimed that the perpetrator had joined online chat rooms after being left housebound by panic attacks in his early 20s. He further said that Anderson had been motivated by the feeling of power that comes from the knowledge that you have control over something that others don't know you have control of. Ward even said that Anderson had been a foolish young man, but had now matured and had the support of his partner, who actually sat in the public gallery during the hearing. Clearly, the sentencing judge, Judge Jeffrey Rivlin, was not convinced by any of this. He said that Anderson derived great pleasure and satisfaction from the said power that the scam gave him. The judge further described the crime as of an almost unimaginable scale. This meant the odds were clearly against Anderson, who then pled guilty to one charge of causing unauthorized modifications to the contents of computers between September 2005 and June 2006. He faced a jail sentence of 18 months, which he was given the option of serving half of it and paying a fine of 5,000 euros. Unlike the police's reputation of being negligent in some similar investigations, this particular case ended up with the judge applauding the police for excellent work and maintaining a high standard of inquiry. Phillip Durachinsky hacked school webcams to create CP. On January 4th of 2017, Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland, Ohio, found out about an infection on more than 100 of its computers. Yes, 100. How? Well, it was all thanks to an unnamed third party who apparently came across the issue and made a report. Actually, this case was taken quite seriously, even seeing the university work together with the FBI, who revealed that the systems had actually been infected by the malware for years before the discovery. They also linked the malware to a CWRU's alumni, a man named Phillip Durachinsky, who had developed it for reasons only known to him, aka he's a pervert. He had later named the software Fruitfly. And before we get into the risks that Fruitfly posed, there's quite a bit about Durachinsky beyond the fact that he was arrested on January 25th of the same year for involvement in the malware. For instance, on the question of who is Phillip Durachinsky, his friends described the northeastern Ohio resident as an awkward kid throughout his schooling life. He was apparently particularly active in co-curricular activities, such as the computer club in high school, astoundingly winning a programming competition in both 2005 and 2006. He also later joined CWRU for college, where he was set to graduate with a physics degree. Durachinsky allegedly hacked into his high school computer systems, although not proven, and while at CWRU, he was accused of cracking passwords on a CWRU network. Following his arrest in 2017, a local law enforcement representative confessed that Durachinsky was very well known to the authorities. Clearly, his reputation sort of preceded him. To add to that, the authorities claimed that the then 28-year-old had run a 13-year-long scheme from 2003 to January 20th of 2017 that infected multiple computers with the fruit fly malware. If you do the math correctly, this dude had been at it since he was 15 years old. Circling back to fruit fly's risks, it targeted Mac computers, allowing Durachinsky access to users' cameras and microphones, which enabled him to record both video and audio. He was also accused of using the malware to steal personal information such as login credentials, tax records, medical records, photographs, and banking records, among many other details that anyone would have dreaded if they were exposed. What's even more shocking is that while he secretly spied on his victims, the malware alerted him when a user typed pornographic words. It's not clear how he used that to his advantage, but I'm gonna guess it's because he wanted to know what type of freaky stuff his victims were into. Now, with the severity of these allegations, it took nearly 7 years for Durachinsky to be charged. He faced a 16-count indictment quite recently, on December 7th of 2023. Judge Solomon Oliver, however, ruled that the guy was unfit to stand trial because of his autistic spectrum. It's interesting to note that both the defense and prosecution in this case agreed with the ruling, but Durachinsky himself wasn't happy with how the case had been handled. This sparked online debates where some sympathized with him and agreed with the ruling, while others believed that Durachinsky had full understanding of the damage he was causing, whether diagnosed with autism or not. Alright guys, that was it for this video. If you liked the video, make sure to leave a like, and if I earned your subscription, make sure to subscribe. And I do want to let you guys know, the people that made it to the end, for real, thank you guys so much. Thank you to the people that comment first. I think it's always funny seeing like first, or like, I really appreciate the comments. And I do want to let you guys know, like, the people that are at the very end. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you know this. On December 30th, I'm going to be going buzz cut bald. Not skin bald like Johnny Sins, not like that. But I'm going to be getting a buzz cut. I've always wanted to do that, like to start the year off. And I might just keep the haircut. I don't know. I think my face card is crazy that I could rock any haircut. But I'm also thinking about dyeing it. I'm also thinking about dyeing it like blue. Now, I wouldn't do it like back in the day where I would do it for every subscriber count, but I would just do it for myself. So I'm just letting you guys know that right now. And also, I've tweeted this before. I'm going to get a face tattoo at some point when I'm older, maybe even next year. But I'm letting you guys know that right now, so don't act surprised when all that stuff happens. That's it for this video. I'll see you guys next time I upload.